All right, welcome back to the Kentucky Derby Work Show presented by TwinSpires.com. Again, a sloppy racetrack here this morning. And Ed DeRosa and I are pleased to be joined by trainer Dale Romans, a Louisville native. And Dale, last November, you finally got it done. That racetrack behind me, no trainer has won more races on that racetrack. You've got 2 horses in the Derby. You've got 1 horse in the Oaks. Obviously, it's special for every trainer, but this being home for you, it's got to be even that much more special.
I mean, it's a great time of year to be in Louisville, Kentucky, and to be a Louisvillian, and it's this city supports me so strong that I'd like to win it just for the city.
Well, it's certainly your party after the Derby is legendary. I can't imagine what it would be like if you actually got the roses.
It'd probably be pretty fun. I mean, it might go on a few extra days.
I might have.
You know, they always talk about the first article you read the next morning is the trainer that won. It was at the barn the next morning at 4:30. They may have trouble finding me for a week or so.
Well, that's why we have assistant. Well, we don't. That's why you do.
Right.
Big hot topic this week with your 2 horses in the Derby. Lannery on Promises Fulfilled, Alvarado on Free Drop Billy. How did you decide? Did you let them decide? Talk us through that process.
No, it's just, I mean, they're my team. You know, we've done, in those 3 of us have won a lot of races together. And going into a race like this, I mean, they both won a lot of races at Churchill Downs, and they're both very strong riders, as good as anybody in the country. Why change it up? We've all done well together. Let's stick together.
We've got some video of the works and Promises Fulfilled and Free Drop Billy. We're going to show those in just 1 second. Want to get to your Oaks horse real quickly first, Coach Rocks, who I think has really taken some major step forward. 2 moves in that last race in Florida. I think she's sitting on a big one, and she continues to get better and better.
Well, that's the key to her. I mean, there's some good fillies in here, but with her, I don't know that we've seen the best of her yet. When she first started, I knew training she was a good horse early on. You could just tell she had all the right parts, doing all the right stuff, and never expected her to lose a race. I couldn't believe it took so long for her to break her maiden, but she put it all together at Gulfstream, won by 8 in her maiden race, and that was wire to wire, though. So you always have a little doubt in your mind. Did she just go out and steal the race, or was it true? But when she came back in the stake, she didn't make the lead, and she had all the trouble. Going down the backside, had a cheap speed stop right in her face, and she had to almost pull her up. You don't see fillies come back from that very often. And then there was a clear 2 or 3 length lead the leader had on her turning for home, and she had to run her down, and she bellied down and ran her down and drew off.
One of the big questions in the Kentucky Derby is the pace scenario. Mm-hmm. And Brandon Staubel was alluding to the fact that, based on the work we saw from Promises Fulfilled and everything that you've said in the public, he's going to the lead in the Kentucky Derby. That's how he won, graded stakes in Florida in upset fashion. Here's the work from yesterday, Dale. Talk about Promises Fulfilled, his development, and this workout and what we expect to see from him the first Saturday in May.
Well, he was an inexpensive horse at $37,000, I think, and so he needed to grow up and get a little bit bigger and stronger as he got older, and he did. He's won 3 races. All 3 of them have been wire to wire. So why would we try to change something going 1.25 miles and in the biggest race in the world?
Post, I'm guessing you'll probably not want down inside, given the plan to go to the front.
It doesn't matter where you're going from. You don't want to be down in there in the Kentucky Derby. I mean, history's proven, especially in the 1 hole. It's kind of the kiss of death. But given a decent post on the outside, I think you got a 1/4 mile to get over to the rail before you hit the turn, and he'd have a chance to clear and hopefully just get into a rhythm. We understand that for him to be effective in this race, he's a little pace sensitive, but if they let him go along pretty easy the first 1/2 mile, he's a horse that'll be running at the end.
Now, you mentioned a team approach, or that you are a team. I shouldn't say approach, but I asked that because are you going to talk with Corey and Robbie at the same time about the trips you expect in the Derby, or is it you're on your horse and you'll talk to him separately?
Well, I mean, we spend a lot of time together, so we'll be talking about it together. We're playing golf tomorrow together, and as long as the weather clears up, and we'll be talking about it a whole lot. But there's not a lot to tell Corey. I mean, just let him run. Just guide him around there, and hopefully they don't come mess with him. Let him coast along for a little ways anyway. You're not going to get to go easy on the lead for the whole trip of 1.25 miles when you have 20 horses in there. Somebody's going to attack you early, but
not this year, especially.
Yeah, this year it looks like it's full of speed, but see what happened in the Florida Derby. I wouldn't want to be the horse in front of him.
Right.
Corey Lannery riding Promises Fulfilled, Robbie Alvarado on Free Drop Billy, and Dale's got both bases covered here. He's got the speed horse and Promises Fulfilled. He's got the closer in Free Drop Billy, who I really liked his work here the other day. I've liked this horse all along, and he's got the pedigree, Dale, to go 1.25 miles, although it kind of tilts towards turf a little bit. Maybe that explored down the line. But talk about this work. He galloped a full mile before you even let him go.
Well, we jogged him a mile first and galloped a full mile and then worked the 5/8. It's this was his big endurance work. He has the foundation to train on him and make sure that he's 100% fit. And a little bit of it's getting their mindset to go that far and spend that much time on the racetrack. So we took it, it was an easy jog, an easy gallop, and then went ahead and worked the 5/8, and he goes at 59 flat like and the boy never moves on him. It wasn't supposed to be his speed; just let him do what he wants to do. But then he didn't want to stop. That was the good thing. And you're right. His brother just won a $1.5 $6 million race in Dubai. So he is bred to go the distance. I think it'll do nothing but make him better.
You mentioned the foundation as a 2-year-old. Does that mean you're an Apollo believer?
Well, I mean, you don't fight against fate, right? Fate. I mean, history. It's proven it hasn't happened yet, but everything what can happen will happen. So one of these days somebody will win that hasn't run it too. But this horse, he's coming into it the right way. He's only run one bad race in his life in the Breeders' Cup. Still have no explanation for that. We just threw it out, and he's come back and run 3 nice races this year and been competitive and ever won. And he's got a quick turn of foot that could help him in the Derby, because you have to have that. When the hole opens, you better be ready to take it and able to take it, or it's going to shut back down on you quickly.
At what point in the race are you hoping Promises Fulfilled is 1 and Free Drop Billy's 2?
Somewhere around the wire.
Yeah.
That'd be the best spot to have
right, well,
1
of
and 2.
course there, but I don't know.
But no,
like,
I don't know. You have
at
the 8th pole, you have to be in contention. It's proven over here. You're not going to come from left field and win the Kentucky Derby. So by the 8th pole, if we get us to that point where we're a length or 2 off of it, we'll just see what happens.
All right.
Well, Dale, you finished twice third in this race with Patio Prado and Dullahan, both off the pace types. Of course, you won the Preakness with a front running type in Shackelford, who happens to be Promises Fulfilled's daddy, which is kind of cool. All of your Breeders' Cup wins, all 3 of them have come on turf, so you've kind of been a little bit all over the map in the Grade 1 stakes action and the biggest events in racing. But it's just nice to be a participant, because you can't win if you're not in.
Well, I'm tired of being a participant. It's time to win. This will be our 9th Derby. And, a few years ago, if you told me to be a participant was good enough, I would have said, yeah, I want to make it. It's a big deal to get there. It is a big deal for everybody. Whoever got here did something right with their horses along the way. You don't make it to the top 20 of your class without doing a lot of right things. And this goes back to decisions made from the time they're born until they get here. But I want to win this race.
Well, sorry, Ed. This track behind us, we alluded to it earlier. You're the all-time leader here.
Yeah,
let's just talk about that moment, because it was very, very special for you last November. Thought you might get there a little bit sooner, but I know Dale Romans likes the drama, likes to maybe stretch things out a little bit. But here it is, all-time winningest trainer, not only taking over that honor, but doing it over Bill Mott, who you have a long history with.
He's a good friend and a legend, of course, and one of my heroes since I was growing up over here, watching him win all the races under Spires when I was back in high school. And the first call I got was from Bill, and he said, I'm glad to hand it over to you. I was leading trainer there long enough.
Well, and Bill Mott does have a horse in this race as well, with Hofberg, up-and-comer versus your more experienced Free Drop Billy. So, yeah, you two at it again here under the Twin Spires in the Derby.
We've run against each other quite a few times. And there's a guy that also deserves to win a Kentucky Derby. There's not a better horseman ever played the game, and this place is special to him. And that's what we talked about that night after we won that race in the fall. Is he said it started bringing back all his memories of being here and how special this place was him and to his career.
Hofberg got a nice work yesterday for Bill Mott at Palm Meadows. You see his name on the list of top 20 Kentucky Derby contenders. You'll also see 2 from the barn of Dale and Romans back-to-back. Their Promises Fulfilled and Free Drop Billy. And Dale, Free Drop Billy, some dicey moments there in the Bluegrass. He finishes 4th, but is placed 3rd. His old nemesis, Sporting Chance, who did the same thing to him at Saratoga, bears out in the stretch, causes interference. You get moved up to 3rd. Had to be a huge relief for you.
It was, but what are the odds of that happening? The same horse, same 2 horses, the same exact spot on the racetrack, in graded races that they interfere, or Free Drop gets interfered with. He should have been put up in the race at Saratoga too, in my opinion, but Wayne argues with me about that. But I think Wayne thought the call was probably the right call the other day.
Yeah, that was one of the more no-brainer ones from the Stewart stand in my mind, and get you into the Derby, and should be an exciting 12 days. What's next for the horses in terms of their training?
Well, we were going to come out and jog today, but they both worked on Saturday, but I think I'm just going to leave them in the barn the way it's raining and how sloppy the track is. I think the odds of something going wrong are probably greater than the benefits of being out there on it. So we'll just tack walk this morning and and get back on the track tomorrow and jog. And you know, all our heavy work's done. We're going to come back next Saturday and do a light little work, and then we'll school in the paddock, school in the gate, and then it'll just be wait time. That's the toughest time. After everything's pretty much done, it's out of your hands. You just sit there and wait.
Plan that party.
We'll have the best parties are spontaneous. It might happen in the infield. It might be anywhere if we were to win this race. But I'm not going to let them take that gold statue and engrave it. I'm taking it with me everywhere I go.
I need to give a shout out to Dale's son, Jake. If you saw the movie The First Saturday in May, obviously Dale was a big part of that movie. Jake was just a kid. He's still kind of just a kid, but he's grown up quite a bit. And I'm going to give him the early vote for Agent of the Year. He's got Channing Hill's book now, and he got you here at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you played dirty. You went to Jake, and you aggravated the hell out of me until I came down here. He's the only one who can get away with that.
You know what my motto is? Whatever it takes.
Whatever
Dale.
it
The same
takes.
motto as yours.
Yes, you know I'd have been here. All you had to do was send me a text. I would have texted right back.
Well, we very, very, very much appreciate you being here, and we always wish you the best of luck. We always root for Dale Romans, one of our guys, so best of luck in the Derby and Oaks and this entire meet at Churchill.